Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Shall we start? All right, so we will continue. Hello, anybody saying something or some mic is on? Hello.
Yes, probably someone's mic is on.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yes,
Shall we
you are
start?
audible.
Please put up your mics. You can put on only when you want to ask questions. All right, shall we start? Answer?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we are studying class equations. Now I will give more examples today, but before I do that, I want to show you there was one writing error at the end. Anyway, I will discuss this example again because I want to continue further. All right, so the writing error was I forgot to write a cardinality symbol here. All right, anybody has any other question? See, your questions will tell me what to write more or less, or what you don't know, what you know. That will get revealed only when you talk. So any question from last lecture?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah, please.
Sir, in the last example, if suppose we have action on set X and then we defined an action of power set on power set.
Yes.
This one, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, if this action is faithful, then this induced action on power set is also faithful. That I proved.
Yes.
And but if it is transitive, but this action is not transitive because orbit of empty set is empty.
Okay, but your doubt is what? What is your doubt?
Sir, if we remove, remove this empty set from this power set.
Yes.
If it then we define a new action. So will it be transitive if the given action is transitive?
That you see, your question is. I don't know whether this is your doubt. This is you are asking some other question which is not what I wanted, isn't it? I wanted you to find what are the orbits and what is the cardinalities. And yes, what is the class?
Yes.
You see, that was anyway, this example I will come back again because I have just started the class equation and so on. Wait for some time, but your difficulty should point out to what is the difficulty. I should understand the difficulty, not the extra comments.
Okay, sir.
All right, more we can also discuss in today's tutorial session. All right, so I want to again revisit this conjugation example. So let me write it again, and because I want to deduce more results from that equation. All right, so what do we have? We have a group G. So G is a group. And X, I am also taking the set X to be equal to the group G. And I want to define an operation of G on G. Of course, one of them we have already, the Cayley operation. But this operation is conjugation operation. And what is it? That is, either you need a map from G to the permutation group on G is theta, or you give a map from G cross X to X. We see all this is equivalent. Sometimes it is convenient to give this, sometimes it is convenient to give that. So I will give this one. So what is it? Any G, where did it go? Theta of G. Sometimes theta of G, I also wrote theta suffix G. This is only the way of writing. And this should be a bijective map from G to G. This is what we want. And this I have taken any X going to its conjugation by G. So G, X, G inverse. And first of all, note that this conjugation map is indeed a bijective map. This is bijective. This is must. This means that this belongs here. And this is called inner conjugation. Inner conjugation by G. Or inner automorphism by G. It is actually the automorphism. So theta G is from G to G. Oh, I use the different letter for this. So I want to use the same letter. I use kappa G. And this is also kappa. Kappa G is any X going to Gx G inverse. And we know this is an automorphism. Automorphism means homomorphism. And it's a bijective homomorphism. Inverse is also an homomorphism. Just now Nitin was telling me the definition. So this is the action. And this kappa is the action homomorphism. If I had to give this is how do I give this? G comma X. It goes to Gx G inverse. This is an operation map. So you will see now in my writing, sometimes this is convenient, sometimes that is convenient. You know, the good thing about kappa is this side is it's a group homomorphism. And we were discussing the class equation of this action. This is the conjugation action. Conjugation operation or conjugation action. And what did we see that? We saw that what are the orbits? See, if you want to understand action with set X, one has to understand what are the orbits and what are the stabilizers. And when you understand this, then you will write down the class equation very easily. All right. So, what are the orbits? X. This is precisely all those
Conjugacy class.
Conjugate to X. Very good. So these are Gx G inverse, where G is varying in G. This is the orbit, and this is because they are the conjugates, we are denoting it by C G of X. This is precisely what we call it in groups is conjugacy class of X in G. And you know it is already a subgroup, isn't it? So this is subgroup that you can check very easily. If some element is there, inverse is also there. The product is also there. So it's a subgroup of G. There is subgroup of all those elements G which commute with that given X. So therefore, cardinality of this actually divide the order of G by Lagrange's theorem. And when is the conjugacy class singleton, when is the orbit singleton? So singleton orbits are precisely
center of G.
Yes, each element is in the center, therefore these are the fixed points. So these are precise singleton orbits, their orbits are only X. That is, if this orbit is singleton, that is CGX equal to X, if and only if X belong to the center of G. And therefore, our class equation and sorry, somebody is asking something. Hello? Hello? I don't know why the noise come in between suddenly. I don't know what is the reason. It's somebody's mic is on or what? All right.
Somebody mic is on.
So please put on the mic if you have put it on by mistake, because it creates a noise.
You are saying, excuse me, you are saying conjugacy class of X is subgroup of G.
Yes. Is it not clear?
No, orbit is not.
No, sorry. Yeah, what I meant is the isotropy. So
Yeah,
not this.
it is
Not this. Anyway, the cardinality of the orbit divides the order of group, that is we already know from the orbit stabilizer theorem. And now singleton orbits are precisely the elements in the center. So therefore, the class equation of this action is cardinality of X is G in our case, cardinality of G equal to cardinality of the center plus cardinalities of all these conjugacy classes. And you can take here distinct conjugacy classes. So that means you are taking them in the quotient set. All right, now, but these cardinalities are also the indices of the isotropies. So these are the indices, so that is G colon Gx. And what is Gx? Gx is by definition those elements G in G such that this X is fixed under G, that and the action of G is now Gx, G inverse equal to X. So this is precisely all those elements of G which commute with this X. This is also called the centralizer of X in G. Of X in G. It's a subgroup. And if the conjugacy class has more than one cardinality, then this subgroup will be proper subgroup. That means it is not G, and the cardinality of this subgroup will cardinality of the gx, we know it is cardinality of cgx, and this is more than 1 if x is not fixed. That is what we have got. Is that okay? So how many orbits are there different? There precisely the number of orbits are precisely equal to cardinality of this center plus as many as the conjugacy classes which has more than one element. So let us call that element to be R. So these are this total this one is called a class number. Of G or of the conjugation action. Or it's abbreviated as class number of G. So this R is number of orbits with more than one element. This makes sense when the group is finite. Yeah, these I forgot to mention in the last time because one of the exercises you see there it is I have asked something to do about class number. All right, so this was one clarification. Okay, the next one I want to deduce some consequences from this actually, from this class equation. So I am going to take now G is finite group, G finite, and suppose it is a P group, P the prime number. Prime numbers are denoted by double this slash, exactly like natural numbers. So prime numbers. So this is the prime numbers. So therefore the order of G. What do I mean by finite P group? Right now you take this as a meaning. Cardinality of G is the power of P. Right now that is the definition of finite P. Later on we'll see it is, I will define more generally P group. All right, I want to, and M is the non-zero natural number. That I will keep denoting by this. Now, what is the statement I want to make? Then center of G is non-trivial. Is not non-trivial support. That is the statement I want. Proof. Let us prove it. Let us take this class equation. Consider that action. What does it say then? The order of G. So we'll say the class equation of the conjugate action of G. I don't have to say on what, that is understood. When I say conjugate action means it has to be on G only. Is, we know it is cardinality P, cardinality G equal to cardinality of the center plus indices of the cardinalities of conjugacy classes. And they are finitely many. So I'm just denoting them from I equal to 1 to R. This is the class equation. And now in this is divisible by P. P divide this. P divide this side. The cardinality G is P power n, so P divide this. These are the indices. Therefore, P also divide this because they are the divisors of order of G. And so these are also powers of P. These are some powers of P. Anyway, P divide them for all I from 1 to R because they are non-trivial. P divides. Therefore, P should divide this from this equation. So, conclusion is P divides the center, order of the center. So, center cannot be 0. Center cannot be trivial. So, therefore, we prove center is non-trivial. Not only non-trivial, actually, it should have at least P elements. This also I want to use it sometime. This is a little bit more finer. All right, we could have done a little bit more, better than this would be the following lemma. So lemma. So X is a G set. Where G is a P group, finite P group. Then cardinality of X and cardinality of the fixed points of G action on X. These two numbers are congruent modulo P. Also, G is finite G set. Proof, the same proof. So proof, what will be the class equation? So class equation for the action of G on X. One should say given action. Action is fixed when I said X is a G set. It could be many actions. So whichever action is given to us, class equation of that action on X. What will be that? That will be the cardinality of X equal to the number of fixed points plus cardinality or indices of the isotropies. And these may be finitely many. So I'll just write 1 to R again. And now again, G is a P group. So all these indices, they are more than 1 and therefore they are divisible by P. And therefore this side divides P. So when you read mod P, you get this component. So that is the answer. It's very easy. Now, okay, before I go on, I want to make some other discussion. Last time I defined what is, for example, what is a faithful action. So what was the faithful action? Can somebody answer? When do you say
Kernel is trivial.
which kernel? Was that the definition?
So kernel of that homomorphism from G to Sx.
Did I give that as a definition or some other definition? I'm not saying you are wrong. But
yeah. You gave that that definition.
Okay, that I use that definition. Fine. So X is the G set, then we say the action is faithful. if kernel of this theta is action homomorphism G to Sx, Sg or Sx, and then kernel of this is a group homomorphism because it's action, and faithful means kernel of this group homomorphism is trivial. Then we call it faithful. But now, how do you make this action may not be faithful? How do you make the action faithful? Go mod the kernel. See, kernel is always a normal subgroup. Kernel of a homomorphism is always a normal subgroup. And therefore, if I go modulo G modulo the kernel, this theta map will induce a map here. And that will also be a group homomorphism. So this will give me an action. This will be modified action. This will not be original action. So it will be modified. So if this was the operation map, I just wanted to sensitize this by saying that if you look at the operation map, what will be the operation map corresponding to this faithful operation? So that should be a map from G mod kernel theta cross X to X. And what will be that? Any G bar X should obviously, you want it to go to where? Where can it go? Can somebody answer? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, then can somebody answer? Is my question clear or not?
Yes,
Why
sir.
are you quiet?
Sir, it will go to GX.
Who is answering? Hello? I just want to know who is answering.
Sir, Rohitesh Pradhan.
Where will it go? Where should this go?
Sir, GX.
Very good. GX. Your answer is correct. But you need to check now 1 and 2 of the operation map, no?
Yes, sir.
So for that, what do you have to check?
So
See,
that I.
This map should be well defined, no?
Yes, sir.
Well defined means you have to check. Is it correct what I am asking?
Yes, sir.
So that is a caution. We have to check that. Because this is defined on the well definedness, one has to check. So let me check for you. So we have to check it is well definedness. That let me mention here, well definedness. So what does that mean? That means if I have another element G prime, so that G prime bar equal to G bar, what does that equality means? That will mean that G prime or G inverse G prime that belongs to the kernel. Isn't it? And how are you getting, what is the relation with the Gx and theta? The Gx is precisely this, in that notation, it's precisely theta G evaluated at X. No, yes. Right? So now, what does this mean? This belongs to kernel theta, so that will mean that theta G inverse G prime is the identity map of X. That is the kernel. This is my theta map. And remember, I have been writing suffixes for theta of. So this means, so this is this, therefore, theta G inverse G prime evaluated at X is X. So that means that this is precisely this G inverse G prime X equal to X. But that precisely means G prime X equal to Gx. So this checking was required. This was to tell you when you go from one to the other, you need some checking. And this checking shows that it is better to do action homomorphisms rather than operation. But sometimes, as you see, operation maps are easier to describe. So that was the point to tell this. All right, now the next one I want to prove what is called Cauchy's theorem. All right, so of course there are many proofs of Cauchy's theorem, but I want to use group action to give a proof of Cauchy's theorem. So let P be a prime number. And G be a finite group. Of order n, then P divides n. See, the statement doesn't have any group action, but there is a very nice proof by using group action. Of course, the one can prove it also by induction something. So, but this is a very nice proof. So let us see this proof by group actions. So proof. This proof is due to, I should tell you who is the author of this proof. I think it is, the author is, I have noted it down, Mackay.
Probably James Mackay. Yeah.
Sorry?
Probably James Mackay. Yeah, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we consider the proof? First of all, the group G I take, not G. The G is already there, so I should not use the letter G. I consider Z mod P under addition. It is additive group now. This is a cyclic group of order P. Remember the operation is addition. And I want to consider G power P. That means the product G cross G cross G so many times. And then these are the P tuples. P times. So the elements are P tuples. And we know therefore the cardinality. So this is my X. This is cardinality of X, I know. Because ultimately I want to apply the class equation. So I will need cardinality. So this is n power P. All right. All right. Now, what do I consider? I consider the elements so the action I want to write it on these tuples. So the action I want to write it. So I will denote these Z mod P a little bit careful with the notation because so this is what I want to do is I want to write the action like this. So we say that Z mod P operates on X by the following action. So I should tell you the operation map. So that is Z mod P cross X to X map. So what is that? Any element A, I will write it A, and any tuple x1 to xp this will go to it should go to tuple. So which tuple it goes? X1 plus A, X1 plus this is 2 plus A, and so on. P plus A. Is that clear? So it operates like that. First of all, actually I can cut down X also. What I want to consider not full X, but only consider. So let me correct it a little bit. So not this X, but operate on the set of all those tuples x1 to xp which are in X such that their product is 1. Make sense? Because these are elements in the group. So their product G is written multiplicatively. So the product is 1. So it makes sense. So this is a subset of X. And what is the cardinality of this subset? Let us call this subset to be Y. What is the cardinality of Y? That I say it is n power p minus 1 because of this equation. The last one is uniquely determined by earlier one. Because if this equal to 1, then the xp is the inverse of the x1 to xp minus 1. So it's uniquely determined. So we have a bijective. You can forget the last coordinate. That is the bijection. And we are now writing the action of ZP on Y. Same. Now the trouble is we have to check that this is again an element in Y. That means if this x1 to x1, this product is P, then this product is also this product of 1 plus A, etc. That is also 1. That we need to check. But that is not so difficult. All right. Because you use the property that Z mod P is a cyclic group. All right. Now use the I will leave it for you to check here that this is an operation you have to check of Z mod P on Y, and also you have to settle this issue. These are not difficult issues, they are elementary group theory issues. All right, then what will be the class equation? Class equation will be cardinality of Y, which we know this is equal to n power p minus 1 equal to number of elements in the fixed points plus the indices of the isotropies. Z mod P is operating, so this is the index in Z mod P. So that is Z mod. So now G I should not write G, it is Z mod P isotropy at X, Y, because Y is orbit. So this is the class equation. And now what will be the case? So these isotropies, either they are trivial or they're P. So therefore, the n power P minus 1 is congruent to number of fixed points. This is ZP. Y mod P. But this also is divisible by P. So therefore, fixed points, number of fixed points are divisible by P, and therefore it will have actually not one, but at least P fixed points. And fixed point means what? So that means this is fixed. So that means the product, there is a fixed point. What are the fixed points? Fixed points are precisely tuples like this: X, 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 where X is in G. And by definition, this should be in Y. Therefore, X power P should be identity. And it has to be at least one of them, there are P of them at least, so all of the points cannot be just, it has more than 1 point, so at least 1 point will be when X is not 1. And therefore, order of X will be P. So actually, this proof shows that not only one element whose order is P, but there are at least P elements whose order is P. All right, so this was the Cauchy's theorem. Okay, and one more thing, if I specialize this Cauchy's theorem to actually, this is you can get Fermat's little theorem also like that. So I will just say Fermat's little theorem. That says that if you take any integer n, then raise it to power P minus 1, that is congruent to 1 mod P. Of course, relatively prime. All right, so that was okay. Now the next one I want to consider that what the conjugation action. Again, first I will consider the conjugation. So G is, or maybe the last example. So X is a set, G set. Okay, before I consider anything, I also want to raise these issues like what are the homomorphisms of G sets. So I have two G sets. So let me write more precisely. So G is a group. And I have two sets. One is X, the other is Y. And on both, G is operating. So these are G sets. And look at the map from X to Y. F is a map from X to Y. When do you say this map F is a homomorphism of G sets? If it is compatible with the actions, it is compatible with the structures. The structure here is a G set. G operation is a structure. That is if when for every G in G and for every X in X, whether I apply operation that is Gx and then apply map, this is one hand, On the other hand, I apply map first and then operate and apply the operation on that. This is the operation in Y and this is the operation in X. These two results should be same. Exactly like when you consider a group homomorphism or a linear map or a ring homomorphism or a field homomorphism or a topological space and continuous map and things like that. So this is a G homomorphism. It's also, I will abbreviate the G homomorphism. When do you call it G isomorphism? F is a map from X to X only. If F is bijective and F inverse, F and F inverse both are G homomorphisms. Both are G homomorphisms. Then you call it an isomorphism. And then we say that two G sets are isomorphic. Like Nitin was telling you just in the earlier lecture. When do you say two sets are isomorphic? When do you say two sets are two topological spaces are isomorphic and so on. So this is, and ultimately, for example, identity map is always a G homomorphism of G set X. Not only homomorphism, it's an isomorphism. And then we can also talk about what is the automorphisms of X, G automorphisms of X. So these are bijective maps from X to X, so that they are action preserving bijective maps. So this is obviously subset of the bijections, and this is actually subgroup. All right, so this language I want to use it further. That is why I recalled it. And one more thing, that G sets will form a category. This I think Nitin will explain tomorrow, so I will wait for that. I am not going to use anything more than that. All right, so the next one now, let us consider that example. What there was a little bit confusion. What somebody, I don't know, I forgot the name, that about the power set. So I have a G set given. So X is a G set given. Not first I want to consider a very special G set. So take X be any set, and the group G you take the symmetric group, a permutation group on X. And we know there is a natural operation. So Sx operates on X, canonically I would say. What is the operation map? The operation map is Sx cross X to X, namely any permutation sigma, comma X that goes to sigma of X. Evaluation. Makes sense. Or if you want to say action homomorphism, that is the identity map. So that is the map from Sx to Sx, and this map is just identity map. So this is a theta map. This is, remember, this is a theta map. See, in this case, theta is identity map, so it is a faithful action. It's a group homomorphism. It's a group homomorphism, and not only that, it is actually All right, so this is the operation. Now I want to use this operation. This is a very natural operation to define action on now on my set will not be X, but it will be Px, power set of X. And let us assume for simplicity, it's not really necessary to assume, but you assume X is a finite set. You know, if you don't assume finiteness, then you will have to work with abstract cardinalities and so on. So let's avoid that in the beginning. So X is the power set, then this G will also have cardinality. We know order of G will be equal to n factorial. And power set is also finite. Cardinality of the power set will be, you know, that it is 2 power cardinality X. And then what is the action? So let me write the action homomorphism. That is Sx cross Px should go to Px. Now sigma comma any subset Y that should go where? Where should it go? I said last time, no? That is sigma times Y. Am I clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If any time, yes, please. Who is talking? Ask, don't hesitate. What happened?
So what is meant by sigma time y?
So here you have written what is sigma times X in our notation. So this means
Sigma is evaluated on some element of y. Is that
not
what you mean?
all elements.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Is it clear? See, what was
Yes,
the
sir.
action of Sx on X? Evaluated at that singleton X. Now I have taken a subset Y. So I consider sigma of Y. Makes sense? The sigma is a map from X to X, a bijective map. Isn't it? So Y is a subset here. So I take the image of that Y, that is sigma Y.
Okay, sir.
So it is also an element in a power set. Right? See, unless you talk, I will not know whether you are understanding or not. Or I will not know what kind of difficulties you get.
Yes, sir.
All right, now we'll go. So this is a operation map. All right, and I want to discuss about stabilizers, orbits, and the class equation or indices of the stabilizers. So first of all, what is the orbit? What is the orbit of Y? This is by definition what? This is sigma of Y, where sigma is varying, where in the permutation. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So what is the cardinality of the orbit? And okay, how are you denoting the orbit? Orbits we are denoting like, I'll use the same notation. So Sx times y. This is how you are denoting the orbit. So you remember g times x. G is our Sx and y is our that element. So this is the orbit. So what is the cardinality of the orbit?
So over here, hello
Sorry?
sir, am I audible?
Your voice is splitting.
Sir, are you able to hear me now? No.
I'm hearing, but I'm not hearing clearly.
Actually, I have developed harnesses because of it. Actually, I could see the number of orbits of Y. That is what I wanted to answer.
What? I'm not understanding your question. Number of what?
No, sir. I could see the number of orbits of Y.
You
The
could see
number
the
of-
number. Right? And I want to count the number of elements here. So I said any subset which has any Z which has m elements. So let me call the elements to be I1 to In. And cardinality Z is m. Any such Z, I will always find sigma. So there exists sigma in Sn so that such that sigma of yz. Can I not do that? I can do that because I will send 1 to I1, 2 to I2, m to Im, and the remaining ones you can maybe send it to themselves. They are exactly same number of remaining also, or do some other permutation. Anyway, so I can find always one permutation so that z and y they are related by that sigma like this. So that precisely means every z who has cardinality m is in the orbit of y. Now is it clear? What is it, Sonakshi?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, did I not write correctly that the number of elements in the orbit is precisely how many ways you can choose your subset from n element set, and that is precisely this binomial number, right?
So basically you meant the number of ways in which we can select Z from X.
Yes. Isn't
Okay.
that same as the orbit,
Yes, sir.
right? So therefore we got the cardinality of the orbit is equal to n choose p, n choose m, these binomial coefficients. So this is this. And what does our theorem says? Our theorem says that cardinality of the orbit of x, small x, let me, this is the origin, this is equal to index of the stabilizer. This is orbit stabilizer, no? This is what we proved there. So this is the cardinality of the, now I want to write the isotropic group. So isotropic group of this above action on the power set at y is what? These are all those sigmas, permutations on x, so that sigma of y is y. This is the definition of isotropy. And I want to know what it is. So what the group is? Now here, when you say sigma of y is y, that doesn't mean that they are pointwise fixed. If y is 1 to m, and if I take any sigma, any permutation of this, that will remain in y. So therefore, this equality is still valid. So definitely, therefore, I will write the answer and then you tell me whether you agree or not. Therefore, this isotropic group at Y is S permutations on Y cross permutations on X minus Y. See, they are fixing the elements of Y moving in Y only, and elements of the complement of Y are moving themselves only. Because these are all bijective maps. So it cannot afford to say that element in the complement goes to an element in Y, and also elements of Y are going to Y themselves. So therefore, this is isotropic. Is it clear? Sonakshi?
Yes, sir.
Anybody has a doubt, please raise it. So isotropy is this. So what is the formula we got? We got this already, we know it is n choose m, and therefore we got this equal to cardinality of this product Sy, not cardinality of the product, it is index. So let me write down here. You'll write down here. So what is the cardinality of this? Not cardinality, I want to know the index. So but anyway, what is the cardinality of this? Cardinality of this is, this is cardinality is m factorial times this cardinality is n minus n factorial. This is the cardinality. So cardinality of this equal to this. So this is the order of the isotropy. This is order of isotropy at Y. That is this. And what will be the index? Index will be equal to n factorial. N factorial is the order of the group divided by m factorial times n minus n factorial. That will be the index. So what is the formula we got? This orbit, this cardinality equal to n factorial times divided by m factorial times n minus n factorial. This formula we already know. So no big deal. Right? So now comes, when will this action be faithful? So faithful action means nobody in the kernel. So this action, so the answer, if 0 less equal to m less equal to, not less equal to m, 0 less, strictly less than, 0 is strictly bigger than, strictly less than m, this is x, cardinality of x, then Sx operate on the power set of x which has NL. That is done. Yes. Anybody has a comment or doubt or whatever? Already anyway our time is ending. So I wanted to consider one more example like this. So I will stop and we will discuss further in a tutorial session. Is that okay? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you hearing me?
Sir.
Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So we will
Yes,
have a couple of minutes or 5 minutes break, and then we will continue in the tutorial. Is that okay? Katre? He's not
Yes,
there.
yes, that is fine. That is fine. So actually now a recording will stop.
Yes.
We request Mr. Pawan to stop the recording, and then there will be two batches like last time, and
Okay.
breakout rooms will be there, and the
Yeah.
two associate teachers will take care of these things, and Professor Patil will help those things in the two
Okay.
batches.
And you have to tell me, you have to teach me how do I switch the rooms.
Well, I think that there are two links should be given to you. So I will probably request Pawan to call you and tell you about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
or Mr. Pawan is here. He can tell right now also.
Pawan,
Mr.
or I will learn
Pawan.
that time. I will learn that time.
Okay, huh? Because you require, I think, two links or something like that for that.
Okay.